everyone. Welcome to this week's edition of the WyoSports video blog. I'm Robert Gagliardi, Senior Editor of WyoSports, here to talk about Wyoming and Boise State football Saturday night on the blue turf at Albertson Stadium in Boise, Idaho. An 8:15 p.m. start on ESPN2. Another late start for the Cowboys, and hopefully save the best for last, so to speak, as the Cowboys are coming off their first win of the season, 28-21 over Nevada. Probably one of their most complete games of the season. Good offense, balanced offense, 270-plus yards rushing. Cam Kaufman was 18 of 20 for 213 yards and 3 touchdowns. No turnovers on offense. No sacks allowed by Wyoming, the first time that's happened this season. So a very good effort. Defensively, allowed only 7 points in the first half. Yeah, they had to hold on a little bit at the end, but with, down a few starters and losing a starter in Chase Appleby, who suffered a knee injury early in the game, was probably lost for the season. Thought the defense held its own, and just good to get a win. It wasn't perfect. It doesn't solve all the issues that this team has had this season, but just a good feeling for the program and the fans and the kids and the coaches, just to get that monkey off their back, the losing streaks they've had of 6 straight losses at home prior to that, dating back to last season. That was the longest in school history, and also a 9-game losing streak overall. But now they kind of jump right into the fire because now they got Boise State. And yeah, the Broncos, surprised me. I don't know what you guys thought, but to lose 52-26 up at Utah State was surprising. So was the 8 turnovers. Just everything that could have gone wrong did go wrong for the Broncos. But make no mistake about it, this is still a good football team. Is it the best in the league? Utah State kind of owns that moniker, at least in the Mountain Division right now. But Boise is still very good. They were nationally ranked before that. They're not perfect, but this is still a good football team and a program, guys, that Wyoming just has not been competitive against. This is the 10th meeting all time between the two schools. Wyoming has not won a game, and really since Boise joined the Mountain West, this is the 5th game in Mountain West play between the two. Wyoming hasn't been competitive. They've lost all those conference games in Mountain West play by no fewer than 22 points. The last two by 40-plus points, a combined 90 points right there. And last year, 63-14 win by Boise in Laramie was the one game that Craig Bohl said that was probably one where they just weren't competitive. Obviously, they weren't competitive, but there was a lack of effort, and you use the word quit. And for this program, that's got to stop. Again, that was just one game last year. This is a completely new team. But for Wyoming to, build the program and get it to where Craig Bohl wants it, one step is to be competitive with the top teams in the Mountain West Conference. And Wyoming gets another opportunity Saturday night. I don't know if this team will be able to do that, and I'm not saying they're going up there for a moral victory if they go up there and lose by, 7, 10 points or 2 touchdowns or something, that's a moral victory. But steps need to be taken. This program has not been competitive against the big-time teams in this league, and it's got to start somewhere. And it's an opportunity for Wyoming on Saturday night. It's going to be tough. Boise State has a top 20 defense, allows only 17 points a game or close to 18. They're good all around. They've got a good front. They've got good secondary guys. They'll be down a guy, Dante Dean, one of their cornerbacks, 17 career interceptions, is out for a few weeks, but Darian Thompson is he is the best safety in the conference. He has 18 career interceptions. That's most ever in the Mountain West Conference. Offensively, it's kind of a typical Boise. Brett Rippon, the nephew of former NFL quarterback Mark Rippon, is the quarterback. Rough game against Utah State with 3 interceptions and 2 fumbles, but for a true freshman has really showed great poise. They run the ball well. Jeremy McNichols, their leading rusher, is back this week after missing the Utah State game. They've got very good wide receivers. This is just going to be a big effort for Wyoming. They get, the Cowboys get a couple defensive starters back. Lucas Waka back at middle linebacker. Robert Priester at cornerback, coming off concussion, so that's encouraging. Earlier this week, Craig Bohl said he's hopeful to have junior wide receiver Tanner Gentry available. I wouldn't be too hopeful on that, folks. I think he's going to miss this guy. I think he's going to probably miss a couple games as he deals with that shoulder injury. I think, maybe the border war with Colorado State on November 7th is a good target date. If he can play, that'd be great. He's Wyoming's big play guy. But if he doesn't, and really don't expect him to, who steps up? Is it James Price? Is it Joe Parker? Who else steps up at receiver? for Wyoming. Maybe they target Jacob Hollister and the tight ends more. The running backs caught a couple of passes last week. That'll be interesting to see where that goes and if Wyoming can run the football with Brian Hill, who's 985 yards, leading the league in rushing, on pace to shatter Wyoming's single-season rushing record of 1,455 yards by Ryan Christopherson in 94. See if they can run the ball, but not a lot of teams have. Boise only allows about 77 rushing yards per game, and that's coming off allowing 177 at Utah State. So, the Broncos will be fired up, and it's just going to be a tough road to hoe for the Cowboys. I'd like to see them. I think they're coming off a little bit of confidence, but I have a hard time believing this is gonna be tough for Wyoming. I think Boise's going to be a little upset, probably a lot more than a little. After last week, I think it's going to be a rough night in Boise for the Cowboys. So I'm going to go Boise State 45, Wyoming 14. Hope I'm wrong, but this is a tough one. But progress needs to be made. Wyoming needs to start making better strides against the better teams in the Mountain West Conference, and it's an opportunity for them Saturday night. So that'll do it for this week's edition of the WyoSports video blog. For more University of Wyoming and high school sports coverage, see the Wyoming Tribune Eagle in Laramie Boomerang, and also log on to WyoSports.net. Thank you very much, everybody.